Alakji, can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, Kachhara sir.
Okay. You can hear me?
Yes, it is audible.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Last time I had some problem with computer, and I think I had to finish the class early because my computer got discharged, Anyway, today I hope it should be all right. So in this lecture, we are going to talk about biophoton theory, which is an important theory from the point of view of explaining how the pranas act in the body. As far as biology is concerned, the biologists themselves find some difficulty in explaining physiological processes, and they speculate that there is some hidden intelligent force that produces biological structures. And that is something which goes in favor of Jain philosophical arguments. According to Jain philosophy, the intelligent force is prana. So the biophoton theory discussed here provides support to the prana theory of Jain philosophy. The basic problem, the question here is that, how the intelligent functioning of the body takes place. And there the argument is that the atoms and molecules of which the body is made up of have no intelligence, So there is some other source of intelligence. The discovery of biophoton is very important, as I said. Scientists have found that there is some kind of weak light which is emitted by all living cells. And this light is different from the sunlight. And they call this light photons as biophotons. Biophotons emissions is, few up to some 100 photons per second per centimeter square of the body space. The organisms can emit biophotons as well as they can receive biophotons. And what is important about these biophotons is that they provide the right quantum of energies at the right place and the right time for the millions of reactions taking place per second per cell. So you must understand this statement very clearly. In each cell of the body, there are millions of reactions going on per second. Who controls these reactions? So the scientists think that it is the biophotons, and these biophotons provide the energies at the right place, at the right time, and the right amount. Different body parts emit biophotons. That is, all cells are in fact emitting biophotons. And there is a rough estimate which shows that even a few photons can provide the activation energy to all the biochemical reactions which take place in a cell. So you don't require very many biophotons. A few of them are enough to control the reactions. And the biologists then stress that, the thermal photons, which are otherwise emitted in the body because of thermal action, they cannot do the biochemical reactions. And they estimate that even 1 photon per cell could be sufficient for activating 10 raised to power 9 reactions per second, billion reactions per second, provided that it originates from a coherent photon field. This, of course, is a difficulty with the biologists to explain, how this biophoton or this particular kind of light is emitted in the body. And the observations show that biophotons are emitted from a coherent photon field within the living system. So there is a coherent field or photon field which emits these biophotons. Then, of course, these are some properties of biophotons that that maintain higher efficiency of energy transfer and transformation, which approaches nearly 100%. And biophotons are able to make communications in the body at all levels within the cells and between the cells, and also between organisms. So the biophoton emission is indicative of an endogenous innate electromagnetic field pervading the entire organism, which may act as both sender and receiver of biophoton. They are electromagnetic bioinformation, okay, and which is used in regulating the life processes. The same function which is being performed by prana. This is the scientific part of this phenomena, and which the biologists know about it. As far as we are concerned, if we can prove that the biophotons are being emitted by the body according to Jain philosophical principle, then we can correlate, the Jain philosophy and the biological findings. So the question which I raised here is that, whether the Karman body can emit these biophotons. And then there are arguments here that, how the biophotons could be produced from Karman Sharira or Karman body. What I have explained here is that, the photon is a Pratyek Sharir Vargana, okay, which is 17th in the order in the system of 23 Varganas. And the Karman body or the Karman Vargana is 13th in order. So is it possible that the photons are produced from the Karman Vargana? And I have explained here, yes, this is possible. So the karmas when are being shed, from the Karman Sharir, they get detached from the Karman body, and they can collect together and produce a photon. Then there is another evidence, which I quoted here. Pandit Sri Ram Sharma Acharya was a great yogi, and who could see inside of his body, so he could see the cell structure. And what is surprising is that when he observed the cell structure, he found that, it's not made up of any material particle, rather it is like a light, So he said that the cell is like a bright star light, So it's a spot of light. And then he said that the entire cell is of light structure. And he also observed that, when somebody dies, then these light particles which are there on the cell, they collect together and live as a body. So this gives an indirect indication that the carbon body could be in the form of light, and which then can emit biophotons. So this is another evidence, which I have quoted. So if we accept that, yes, the biophotons are produced from the carbon sharir or from the carbon organelles, then this inference is very important, because then now the study of soul becomes the part of science, because the biophotons are emitted by carbon body, and the carbon body adjusts only with the soul. So the soul then becomes a part of scientific study. And also the domain of body matter is extended to include subtle matter, matter which is subtler than photon, that is in the form of carbon organelle. And the intelligent action, which is supposed to be performed by DNA, is actually because of the intelligence of the soul expressed through karma and transmitted through biophoton. So we have found a mechanism how the karmas are acting in the body. They act through biophoton and they act very intelligently. So we are now happy, that we find that, the scientific principles can be explained by gel principles, and the gel principles become scientific in that way. And therefore, there is a correlation between science and gel philosophy. So this is one part of the lecture, or one lecture. I will go to the next one. Before I start this lecture, I would like to talk something about bhav. In one of the class earlier, there were discussions about bhav, and there were questions raised about bhav. So I have written here. I want to explain what is bhav and what is their significance in our life before I start the lecture proper. So there is a definition. The bhav defines our knowledge, perception, vitality, feelings, emotions at any time. So all these feelings, or all these experiences which we have is because of bhav. And bhav is a disposition of the soul itself. The bhav is determined by karma. That is the first thing. Excuse me. Bhav is determined by karma. Depending on the ways the karmas experience their influence on the soul, there are 5 kinds of bhav. Odoik bhav, this is because of the rise of karma. Opashamik bhav, this is because of suppression of karma, or upsham of karma, moni karma rather. Kshayik bhav is this disposal of the soul because of annihilation or akshaya of ghati karma. Kshayoksamik bhav, which we normally have, is a disposition of the soul by partial suppression of moni karma and partial annihilation of ghati karma. And lastly, we have paranamik bhav, which is the natural disposition or manifestation of the soul, which is independent of karma. And there are 3 kinds of parinamic bhav. One is jivatva, another is bhavyatva, and abhavyatva. And these 3 are natural disposition of the soul, and we all experience them all the time. we have a feeling of jivatva. That is, everybody believes that I am a living being. This is because of the jivatva bhava. So why this slide is not changing? Okay. The number of bhav depends on the karma type. Mohani karma, will have all the 5 types, that is Odarik, Kriyopsamik, Opsamik, Kshayik, and Parinamik, all 5 types will exist with Mohani karma. Other Gati karmas, only 4 bhav except Opsamik. Opsamik bhav exists only with Mohani karma. And for Agati karma, with these karmas, you can have 3 types of bhav: Kshayik, Odayik, and Parinamik. What happens in these bhav, So the Odayik bhav decides Gati, Ling, Kashay, Mithya Darshan, Mithya Gyan, Asanyam, worldly state, and Leshya, These are the results of Odayik bhav. Opsamik bhav develops attitude of Samyak Darshan, Samyak Charitra. Kshayik bhav develops Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gyan, Samyak Charitra, and vitality, of course. Kshayak Samik bhav, which we normally have, we always have this kind of bhav normally. And this bhav can develop Samyak Darshan, it can develop Samyak Charitra, Chakshu Darshan, Achakshu Darshan, Avdhi Darshan, Mati Gyan, Shruta Gyan, Avdhi Gyan, Manah Paryav Gyan, and partial restraint, Asayam, or partial restraints mean, Sanyam, Asayam, both. So these are the things, which are possible with the different kinds of bhav. And this is the thing I wanted to tell you about this thing. I now come to the lecture proper, Leshya. Again, an important concept in Jainism. There are diversity of views regarding the Leshya literature in the Leshya concept in literature. If you make a definition of Leshya, Leshya is one that binds soul with karma. So this is a simple definition of what Leshya is. Leshya defines our inner personality depending upon bhav. So there is a correlation between bhav and Leshya. That is why I discussed bhav first. So the bhav represents our inner emotions, cognition state, patience, and feelings. And Leshya do more or less the same thing. The Leshyas comprising of a bhav are expressed without the help of mind. So the mind has no relation in expression of bhav or Leshya. Then we have 2 types of Leshya, Bhav Leshya and Drav Leshya. Bhav Leshya is the karma generated state of the soul, and Drav Leshya is a kind of emission, and which is said to have color. And this is how the Leshyas are defined, based on color. Drav Leshya is formed by interaction of Karman Vargana and Tejas Vargana. So this is the mechanism by which the Drav Leshya is produced. Karman Vargana and Tejas Varganas have all colors, tastes, smells, and 4 touches. So it's a 4-touch matter, So the 4 touches are hot and cold, smooth and rough, we already know. But the Drav Leshya is supposed to be 8-touch matter. So that means the 4-touch matter has to convert into 8-touch matter to produce Leshya. And this is possible by aggregation of Karman Vargana and Tejas Vargana. And Leshyas are classified according to the color. So based on color, there are 6 kinds of Leshyas: Krishna, Neel, Kapo, Tejo, Padma, and Shukla. And this table gives the 6 Leshyas and their properties. In fact, Pragyapna Sutra or Uttradhyana Sutra also defined, besides color, taste, smell, and touch of Leshyas. And this is given in the table here. The color has a special significance. It defines the psyche of a person. So each Leshya identifies a particular kind of personality, as explained later. There are 6 kinds of Leshyas, and these Leshyas are not, steady or permanent in our personality. The Leshyas keep on changing depending upon our bhav. And there are 3 theories, how Leshyas are produced. In the first theory, it is said that it is produced by Kasaya Mohani karma, rise of this karma. Second one says that it is because of rise of Nam karma. And the third one, it says, no, it's the consequences of all the 8 karmas. Probably all of them are right. The only difficulty is how the Ayush karma can produce Leshya. That is one difficulty. Otherwise, we can accept them. I have already talked about bhav earlier. As far as Leshya is concerned, some problem with the slides. Leshyas change with bhav, Any Leshya except Shukla lasts for a few minutes or Antar Muhurt and then changes to another time. And when this change takes place, there is no particular order in which the Leshyas change. It could change from one type to any other one, another type, depending upon our bhav. So, the Leshyas are bhav dependent, as I said. And there is a relation between, there is another term which is we come across very often in our literature, which is adhyavasaya. So there is a relation between adhyasha and the Leshya, as I have represented here. The adhyavasaya are also vibrations, and so are the Leshyas. How do Leshyas interact with the gross body? That is the question. And this question has not been answered in the scriptural text. No text says that how the Leshyas are interacting in the gross body. But Acharya Mahapragya has given thought about it, and he says that, the Leshyas interact with the endocrine glands, particularly the pituitary and hypothalamus, which are located in the brain, and they are master glands, So Leshyas interact with these master glands, and these master glands then control secretions of hormones from other glands. So the entire hormone phenomena or the hormone process then is governed by Leshya according to Acharya Mahapragya. Then I also taught something about human psychology. And there I have described the characteristics of people having different kinds of Leshyas, starting from black, blue, and so on. So this needs no explanation. This one can read and understand. This figure is very interesting. This explains the different, all 6 kinds of Leshya. Now, what is the psychology of a person, And the story goes like this: that a person was traveling in a forest, and he was hungry, and then he came across a mango tree and thought that I must eat mangoes. The question is how to eat mangoes, So one person says, okay, I'll uproot the tree and take all the mangoes. The second one says, no, you don't have to do that. You cut only the trunk and eat the mangoes, and so on. The story goes like this. And lastly, the one which is having the Sukla Leshya says that you don't have to do any of these things. Please eat the mangoes which have fallen on the ground. That's all. So it's a good figure explaining the various types of Leshyas. This already explained. Then we, besides Leshyas, we can also correlate the no Kachhara with the psychology. No Kachhara, there are 9 of them, starting from Krodh, Man, Maya, Lobh. So anger is also a kind of Leshya. It also, it's a kind of emotion, and it relates our psychology. So the anger, it prevents to take the right decision. This is the psychological effect of anger. Ego, it personally biases, it biases your decisions. Deceit, it maligns your mind. So mind ignores the rules of ethics and morality, and one becomes unethical and immoral. Greed, mind thinks of personal gain only and ignores its effects on others, doesn't bother about what happens to others. Then Rati no Kachhara karma, So this is your attachment to desires, dissatisfaction, aversion due to arati, no Kachhara. Laughter, joking, sarcasm, all these things come because of haya no Kachhara, hasya no Kachhara. Sorrow, grief, etc. comes because of shok no Kachhara. Fear comes and defensive action comes because of bhaya no Kachhara. And jugupsa no Kachhara creates disgust and annoyance. And of course, Veda no Kachhara creates sexual desires. So I just briefly explained how the no Kachharas are related to our psychology, besides the 4 main Kachharas. So I stop here. So I've given you a summary of the 2 lectures, and we can now have questions.
So thank you, Professor Kachhara, for explaining the concept of biophotons and also Leshya and no Kachhara. So if somebody has any question regarding the topic, yes. So Alok-ji, you can ask.
Vandami Swami Samni ji and Kachhara sahab, बहुत धन्यवाद आपका. You've done such a marvelous job of explaining these very complicated concepts. मेरा प्रश्न ये है कि the way that you explained biophotons and the whole process itself, it seems that everything happens naturally. मतलब it is constantly going on in the system. तो अगर ये सब automatically हो ही रहा है, तो इसमें मन कहाँ फिट होता है?
No, I have not talked about man here. Man is a functional entity. And here we are only discussing about the processes in the body, the physical processes which are taking place in the body. Okay. And biophoton are doing the functions intelligently, because they are controlling various things. So I correlated that with the prana. The prana also is an intelligent force acting in the body. And the biophotons are doing almost the same kind of function. So there appears to be a correlation or relation between biophoton, and prana. This is my contention here. Mind is something different, and mind is a psychic unit. Okay, so that we will discuss separately, how the mind functions, what mind is, and so on. Here I connected this Leshya psychology only with the physical processes in the body through hormone action.
नहीं वो तो मैं समझ गया कचारा साहब. I guess the confusion in my mind is तो इसका मतलब अपने हाथ में तो कोई कंट्रोल है ही नहीं. अपने आप ही भाव उठेंगे, उसके हिसाब से लेशा उठेगी, प्लांट में प्रोसेसेस चलेंगे. Is there any control we have at all?
The karma, the leshyas are being produced by karma, the biophotons are being produced by karma, the pranas are produced by karma. So the control is with karma. Now, what kind of other control you want to have in the body? I mean, the mind has no control. We cannot exercise control on the body that way. It's an autonomous system working in the body. And by karma, the karma is acting. The source of biophoton, source of leshya, source of prana, source of paryapti is karma. It's a karma controlled.
तो जो फिजिकल एक्शन आदमी लेता है वो भी उसको कह देंगे ठीक है, कर्म, that energy that you spend, the decisions you make.
Right. No, the action which we are taking, the yoga, man, vachan, kaya, yoga, okay? This action we are taking, then we are free to take action. That there comes the freedom of the soul, purusharth. And their mind plays a role. So this thing we will discuss when we discuss mind. So mind plays a role in your activities. At the moment, we are not talking of activities, we are talking of the body processes. I hope I make it clear.
मैं समझ रहा हूँ. I think the confusion in my mind is कि भाव अगर, I always thought that action precedes bhav. If bhav is natural, then action should be natural too.
They are all karma dependent. I did say that 4 kinds of bhav, okay? Odaik bhav, opshamik bhav, kshayik bhav, kshayoksamik bhav. They are all karma dependent. Okay, so everything is being controlled by karma.
Here I would like to say something.
Yes.
Okay, so there are 5 bhavas: Odaik, Opshamik, Kshayik, Shapashmik, and Parinamik. Odaik is being mainly controlled by the karmas. And the Opshamik, Kshayik, Shapashmik, these are the purity of, these are indications of purity of our own soul. So where we are making some effort to purify our mind, our action, our speech, or what mental dispositions. So Kshopashtam is a kind of a effort of a self and not of karmas. We are controlling the karmas, the karmic effect. Here karmas are not playing any role. Here the soul is playing the role to control the effect of the karmas.
No, I accept that. What you say is perfectly all right. But the Kshayoksamik Bhava means only that intelligence is being manifested, which is due to Kshayoksam of karma. The entire intelligence of the soul is not manifested. That's the only thing which I want to emphasize here. So when you have a Kshayoksamic Bhava, of course, the intelligence of the soul is manifesting, but only that amount which is allowed by the Kshayoksam of karma, and not the entire one. That's all.
It is true. How much we are effort we are making. According to that, we are getting that kind of intelligence from within.
Okay, yes.
But after all, it is the power which is coming from the self.
Naturally.
Yes.
It is the
By
intelligence.
controlling the karmic effect,
That's
or by removing the karmic effect partially or whatever in the form of the Shopasham.
exactly. Ultimately, it is the soul which is working in the. So even through the karma, it is the soul's power which is working in the body.
Yes.
Yes.
So these three actually they are coming. These three states are coming into action when the Mohani karma is subsided or partially eliminated or completely eliminated. Of Shamik, Shaik, and Shapashmik.
Right.
Yeah. Anybody has any question? Yes, Hansha sir. Hansha, you are muted.
वरदानी
Yes, you can ask after Hansha.
भगवान की आभा मंडल और हमारे भामंडल और रेशिया में क्या फर्क है?
Okay, so Professor Kachhara will answer first.
There is no clear picture or relation between Abha Mandal and Leshya. Abha Mandal is something different than Leshya. Leshya is related with the Bhav and working inside the body. Abha Mandal is something, which can be seen outside the body. Okay? So Abha Mandal is something different from Leshya. Leshya is controlling our hormones, it's controlling our inner activities. Abha Mandal is not controlling any activity in the body. Abha Mandal is a kind of aura which exists around the body of every individual, and it is more prominent, of course, in the case of Arihanta and Tirthankar. Otherwise, the aura is there with every organism. Okay, and what does the aura consist of is not very clear. Now, what the aura consists of? It could be some kind of. It could be some. The Tejas Organa probably could extend outside, and the thermal emissions could mix up with that, because the aura can be seen by many people. There are people who can read aura. So if a common person can read aura, then it is not only subtle part. It also involves the visible things, which consists of thermal emissions from the body. So the aura can be a mix-up of things, of subtle and the gross. This is the scientific explanation. Otherwise, somebody will tell about aura.
According to Acharya Mahapragya, when he is discussing about the psychic colors in the terms of Leshya, then he is saying that aura, which is in surround of our body, that is the reflection of our Leshyas actually. And of course, the radiations are connected with the Tejas body, but they are also showing that what emotional states you are having, or states, what kind of state of consciousness you are having in that moment. According to that, the color, the light of Tejas body comes outside, and that is being recognized as a aura in general sense. But you are talking about the Abha Mandal. So Tirthankars eliminate all the Ghati karmas and get omniscience. So their Abha Mandal shows the complete purity of their self and enlightenment.
That's right. So
and their aura doesn't change.
That's right.
In that sense.
Exactly. So our bhava are, of course, are reflected in the aura. That's true.
Yes.
Because the
Yes,
aura
yes.
is changing with our bhav, you know.
Yes, there is the Dravilesha and Bhavalesha. So what Professor Kachhara is talking, that is Bhavalesha. And what aura is, that is Dravilesha.
No, I have
That is
slightly
color of the body or color of the emotions or color of the mental states or consciousness. So that is being recognized outside as aura.
I have little different definition. Bhav is a part of the soul, in fact, you know, as
Yes.
far as I understand.
Yes, yes.
Leshya is a part of the soul, and soul cannot be seen. It's not visible. So Bhav cannot be seen, as far as I think, you know. And therefore, what is seen is visible, and therefore gross matter. It's only gross matter which we can see. A aura reader sees the gross matter only, you know. But that gross matter is mixed up with the Tejas Vargana. That, of course, is right. And this is then our bhava are being reflected, and therefore the aura colors keep on changing. You know, people have done a lot of study on aura. You know, they have studied aura of the people at different times and a different state of the mind and so on. And of course, they see that, you know, the colors are changing and all that, but they have not been able to come to any particular conclusion as this is how the aura, this is what the aura signifies, you know. This kind of result has not come true. So nobody has been able to say very definitely what the aura means. Only thing is that the aura changes with bhava, with thinking and so on. That, of course, is true. But to draw any conclusion from the aura is very difficult. You know? And of course, Arihanta and Tirthankara is entirely different matter because all the karmas have been shed off, all the Gati karmas are absent, and therefore the aura is steady, it's very wide, it's extended aura, and so on. Because that Tejas Sharir, you know, will extend a long distance. And therefore they are able to influence, you know, the surroundings, you know. So Tejas Sharir extends beyond the body, much beyond the body, in fact, in their case.
Okay, so now Deepika ji wants to ask, and Anshasa, are you unmuted? You are muted actually, so you couldn't ask anything. Yes, so after Deepika ji, could you please ask? Okay. Yeah, Deepika ji.
And Professor Narayan ji, I have a question. When the Tejas Sarir leaves the body, do you see them as a aura or no?
Pardon?
Some people say the white color things goes out when the person is dying. Is that the aura what we see?
When a person is dying.
Yeah, when the soul is leaving.
Yes.
Some people, you know, lots of experiment is done, and in the experiment they say you see the white color aura is going out. Is that the Tejas Sarir what we see?
The people did the experiments with Kalian photography.
Yeah, Kalian photography, exactly.
Yeah, okay, you know, but you know, the latest findings on Kalian photography is this, that all the effects which they see is because of moisture and nothing else.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thanks. Because thanks for clarifying.
Okay.
Okay, Hanshasa, you can ask, and then Chandani Shah.
Okay. Professor, I have a question. Right from the beginning, Atma, how Atma is sitting, just there is no kampan. How does the bhav, where does the bhav originate from? And how does it affect? I cannot understand from bhav Leshya, I mean, when our, how does it affect? And then it becomes Leshya and we are able to see.
Okay.
Just I want to understand.
The soul. Okay. The soul has vibration and kampan because of karma, because of karmic effect. The soul has vibrations, you know, and these vibrations of the soul has been called as adhyavasaya also.
Yeah.
And the bhav is the state of the soul because of this vibration.
Bhav is the state of the soul. Okay.
Because of these vibrations, which are being created. So bhav is the state of the soul.
So then, if you are saying if it is Karman particles related, Karman particles are always there attached to the soul. They come up at certain times. What excites or what initiates that process?
Say
I'm
because
not very clear.
Because of karma,
Yes.
the soul experiences vibrations or kampan, as you say. Because of, if there is no karma, that is in a pure soul, there are no vibrations, no kampan. Okay?
Okay.
So a siddha soul will have no vibration, no kampan, anything, nothing like this. It's only the worldly soul, the sansarik jiva, which has karma. That soul experiences vibrations because of the effect of karma. It's continuously changing. Kampan means what? It's a continuous change.
Yeah, vibrations change.
Continuous change. So soul experiences continuous change because of karma. That is a vibration, and that creates a certain state of the soul, which we call as bhav.
Now you're talking about karma. Is it our past karma or are we doing the currently any karma?
Bhav karma. As far as the soul is concerned, bhav karma.
Okay,
So
only
the
bhav.
bhav karma continuously keep on changing. Okay.
Yeah.
And therefore that change is vibration, But what vibration is? Vibration is change.
Yes.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Company is what? Change,
Change,
So,
yes.
yes, the bhav karmas keeps on continuously changing. So we say that the soul experiences vibrations, kampan, because of this change. And because of the effect of this is to create a certain state of the soul, you call that as bhav.
Okay. Okay. And my second question was, you had mentioned about biophoton, and
Yes.
it is like four, what is it, four particles or four the size wise. So if it is that small, who has been able to study and look at it? Because there is only, you mentioned one professor who has done the research on it.
There is not one now. There are many scientists who are doing study on this. It's a very hot topic for study, for biologists and scientists, to study the effect of biophotons. Biophoton, as I said in my lecture also, is a very, very weak light, So earlier the scientists were not able to detect that light, but later on, they of course, had instrumentation so as to detect this weak light, and they are able to study it, and they study its effect.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Chandani Shah, you can.
Sami Samniji and Pranam, Professor Sir. My question is, what is the predominant bhav in omniscience? And in the omniscience or siddhas, what would be the predominant bhav? Would it be shaik or parinamic?
Like paranamic bhav is always there, jivatva bhav, Even the siddha would experience, he himself thinks that he is a living body, he is a living soul. Okay, so the jivatva bhav is always there, whether you are a sansarik being or whether you are a liberated being.
Yeah.
That bhav is always there. Okay. Kshaik bhav, you talk of kshaik bhav when you have karma, and then we say that when the kshaik bhav, when the karma, the ghati karmas are destroyed, then you have the ananta gyan, ananta darshan, ananta sukha, ananta vir. And so when the soul is liberated, there's already liberated, then where is the question of kshay and akshayo, something and all that? That question it becomes irrelevant, in fact, People can say that they have the siddha will have a kshaik bhav, but that's not really principally very correct, All these terms lose meaning, in the Siddha state. In the Siddha experience only infinite Gyan, only infinite Darshan, infinite Sukh, and infinite Vir, and that's all. Everything is included there. You don't need any other definition,
Okay. And you mentioned Tejas body, but when you are omniscient, there would be no Tejas body, would there be?
Tejas body.
Ah.
Tejas body is always there with the omniscient, I
Oh,
mean,
is
the
it?
Tejas body would last till the last point of liberation, last moment of liberation. At the end of the 14th Gunasthan, when the soul gets liberated, the Tejas body is there.
Oh, but when they are liberated, they won't have the Tejas body.
Naturally, no carbon body in a Tejas body.
No Tejas body. No,
No
because I
Tejas
was,
body, no carbon body in Siddha state.
yeah, because thinking about the Abha Mandal, I was thinking how the Bhav or anything would be related
There
to
is no
the
question of
Bhav.
Ava Mandal in liberated soul. There is no question of Ava Mandal. The liberated soul is a non-physical entity.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, Ava Mandal is a physical entity.
Okay. So at that stage, before complete liberation, they are on the 13th stage.
14th Gunasthana, last moment of 14th Gunasthana. Till that time, Tejas body would exist.
Okay. So, okay. Thanks. Thank you.
Now, Priyanka, could you please ask?
डॉक्टर नारायण मेरा सवाल है
Vijay Bhatia sir. Sir, you are muted, Bhatia ji. You are muted. Bhatia ji, you are muted, so you are not audible.
मेरा एक सवाल है कि स्टडी ऑफ सोल बिकम्स ए पार्ट ऑफ साइंस, तो इसके बारे में मुझे जानना है, क्योंकि अब तक तो मेरा कंसेप्ट था कि कर्मों से ही जब कर्म खत्म हो जाते हैं तब मोक्ष की अवस्था की बात कर सकते हैं, लेकिन अभी जब साइंस आ गई तो कई और चीजें भी इन्वॉल्व हो सकती हैं, तो आप एक्सप्लेन करें कि ये साइंस क्या कर रही, क्योंकि एक तरफ बौद्ध धर्म तो आत्मा को मानता ही नहीं, यहाँ तक कि क्रिश्चियनिटी में भी आत्मा की बात नजर नहीं आई, अपने जैन धर्म में आत्मा की बार बार बात हो रही है, तो आप जरा एक्सप्लेन करें.
What is your question?
My question is, how is soul connected with science?
Soul connected with science? No, soul is, ये सवाल ही ठीक नहीं है. Soul is connected with the body. Okay, and body is being studied by science. So that way there is a connection between soul and science because of body. Okay, the body is being studied by science. So if there is no body, there is no connection between science and soul. The liberated soul has no connection with science at all. It's beyond science, beyond Pudgal. Science studies only Pudgal, matter.
तो जहाँ मैटर है वहीं साइंस आती है, और जहाँ मैटर का कनेक्शन नहीं है
वहाँ साइंस नहीं आएगी. हाँ, वहाँ साइंस नहीं आएगी. जो साइंस हम कहते हैं आज के जमाने में, जिस साइंस को हम जानते हैं, okay, the modern science, which we know, is connected only to Pudgal. Modern science is connected only, you studied Pudgal. Of course, then the relation between Pudgal and space and time, of course, that part is different.
Okay. Now, Priyanka, could you please ask?
जी वंदना शर्मा जी, सर मेरा ये डाउट है कि बायोफोटॉन है और हम लोगों ने जो पढ़ा है दैट वाज सिंपली फोटोन, तो ये बायोफोटॉन वही फोटोन है विच वी हैव स्टडीड इन फिजिक्स, द फोटोन इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक रेज और उससे लिंक्ड है ये फोटोन पार्टिकल?
No. This is the first thing which was cleared in the lecture. Biophotons are different from photon. The ordinary photon, which is the particles of light.
Yes.
Okay. So these photons exist in space, but biophotons exist only in the body of an organism. They do not exist outside the body of an organism. So they are different, biophotons. That is why we call them biophotons. The photons which are part of bio or biological entity.
तो ये बायोफोटोन हर लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म में रहेगा या फिर जो जल
सारे लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स
जो अग्निकायिक और वो सब रहते हैं उसमें भी रहता है?
Pardon?
अग्निकायिक, जलकायिक वो सब जीव रहते हैं उनमें भी रहता है बायोफोटोन या सिर्फ लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म?
नहीं, अग्निकायिक जीव के बारे में तो हम नहीं कह सकते. The science has not studied that. Science has studied only plants and animals. Plants and animals. So the biophotons exist in plants and animals. Science has not studied the Jalkaik Jeev and Pathikaik Jeev. So we do not know.
Okay, thank you.
Now, Ranjita, you can ask.
Professor, I want to ask, do liberated souls have bhav lesha?
No, liberated soul will not have bhav Leshya.
Okay. And what is the difference between Adhyavasai and Leshya?
Leshya is some property which represents our bhav. And Adhyavasai are said to be vibrations of the soul because of karmic action. So Adhyavasaya is little different from bhav. Bhav is, as I explained to you, is the state of the soul because of the vibrations produced in the soul.
Okay, thank you.
Acharya Mahapragya used to explain Leshya in the sense that when our consciousness interacts with Tejas body, then it creates Leshyas.
Yeah, Drav Leshya.
Yes, and Drav Leshya and Bhav Leshya both. And when our consciousness interacts with karmic body, then it creates Adhyavasaya. And when it interacts with the Sthul gross body, then it creates yoga and some vague emotions. So in this way, he used to explain these concepts, Adhyavasaya, Leshya, and what we say, yoga and samveg.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Suresh Kumar. Suresh Kumar, you have some question?
Vandami, sir. Namaste, sir. Sir, regarding this Leshya is responsible for Gati Karma, Agati Karma. Which is more responsible?
Leshya is responsible for bondage of karma. Okay.
Okay.
So it bondage karma of all kinds.
So 8 type of karma.
Yes, all 8 types of karma.
Okay. And this Kevali Bhagavan, sir. Kevali or Samanya Kevali or Tirthankar Kevali, they have Leshya, sir?
Yes, they have Shukla Leshya.
Okay. But while considering this Leshya, we have 2 types. One is Subh and Ashubh. but Kevali is it's not Subha Bhavana, is Shuddha Bhav.
That no, it's not connected with Leshya. Leshya, as I said, is a Shukla Leshya, and Shukla Leshya will be connected with the Suddha.
No, Leshya is classified into only two, sir. One is Shubh and Ashubh. The
No,
three categories,
that's
Shubh,
not right.
and
That's
three
right.
categories are Shubh.
That's right. That's right. So the Tejo Padma and Shukla, they are Subh Leshya.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Shukla Leshya is also a Shubh Leshya. And in the case of Aryanta and Tirthankar, it's when it is a Suddha Upyog, it is a Shuddha. I mean, we don't have defined Leshya as a Suddha Leshya. Leshya, we call it only Shubh, It's the Bhav which is Shuddha Upyog rather, Upyog could be Shubha Upyog or Shuddha Upyog.
Yes.
Upyog could be these two, but we don't define Leshya in that way. We Leshya said only Shubh and Ashubh. And the Shukla Leshya is a Shubh.
No, the Leshya Suddha, Siddha Bhagavan is okay, sir, it's matching. Because Siddha Bhagavan, we are not considering Leshya. He is beyond the Leshya. But Kevali Bhagavan, he knows everything. Hityopadeshi. So Leshya is still working, but Shuddha Bhav, that little bit confusion is there.
So here I would like to say one thing, that the Shubh Leshyas are being caused by Shubh Nama Karma. Okay, so here Shubh Nama Karma is playing the role to create the Shukla Leshya in the case of Kevali or Tirthankar, who is still acting.
Correct. I agree, Vandami. But the Nama Karma, which is pleasant, is green and black. It's a Dravya Karma. Nama Karma is Dravya Karma. That Dravya Karma defined black and green is a pleasant, other colors are unpleasant. It's a body type. It's a Dravya Karma is a body type, body colors only. But Leshya is not a body color.
Vandami, let me answer this one. Okay, Suresh, you understand there are the two things. Okay, first one is a functioning. Okay, so means whenever we are talking about the functioning, then you just need to focus on the functioning one up there. Here you are totally having a different one. Whenever there is a Shuddha Upyog, there is no karma at all. Okay, because you are now, karma is a Pudgal particles. Understand this one. And Shuddha Upyog is only a Jiv particles, right? So Jiv and Pudgal do not have any connections. Both are the different dravyas. So whenever you are talking about the Jiv one, we are just talking about the Jiv one. It is not mixed with this the Pudgal one. Right now, we are just here understanding the functions between the how those the karma and the Jiv relations is been working here. So on that time, you are just focused on how those the functioning one up here one. You understand it, right? When there is a Shuddha Upyog, you are talking about it is just about the Jiv one. And Jiv doesn't have any karma because karma is a Pudgal. You understand, Suresh ji?
Yeah.
Okay. So whenever you will say that the Jiv,
the question is,
it means that there is no state of the karma at all.
Huh?
Okay, so now you will decide. Does the Kevali Bhagwan, whenever you are looking about the Kevali Bhagwan, you are looking with this from which side you are looking from the karmic side or from the atmic side? Okay, which side you are?
Atmic. We are talking.
So whenever you are looking from the atmic side, there is no karma at all. I will tell you because the Jiv doesn't have any karma. Jiv doesn't have any Pudgal things.
So what I am trying to say, sir?
Jivs are two different entities. Remember those one. Whenever you are talking about just the Jiv side one, there is no karma.
No, Jiva is practically we are. Well, I am talking about only Kevali Bhagavan. He don't have.
I'm talking about any Jiv is whenever it is in a pure form one, Jiv doesn't have karma. Karma is a Pudgal particles. Okay, so Pudgal is a different from the Jiv. That is the very first lesson in a basic Jainism. Jiv is a different, Pudgal is a different, Dharma is a different, Adharma is a different, Akas is a different, and Kal is a different. All those are the six dravyas are the different one. And that's how they can have their own existence. Okay. Now I come to your question once, whenever you are looking from those, the Kevali Bhagwan means you are looking, that is in between karmic as well as the Jeev, the both one, you are looking at a mixture one, right? So whenever you are talking about the mixture ones, then the mixture one has a different parts. One part is helping in a functioning, one part is creating a functions, one part is actually action. So and that is what the Professor Ji is just try to explain you which part it is. Whenever you are talking about the action one, just need to understand from the action point of view only. That's how you can understand it.
No.
Okay, so we'll go on.
Yeah. Sir, I am looking Jiva part only. We are much interested in Atma part only.
Yeah, Suresh
Kevali
Kumar.
Bhagavan. Yeah.
Yeah, let me explain.
Yeah.
When we talk of upyog, then we say there is a Shuddha upyog and there is a Shubha upyog. Okay?
Yeah.
Upyog is of two kinds, Gyan Darshan, you must be knowing that.
Yes,
The two main upyog is Gyan Darshan. Okay?
Yes.
When we say Shubha upyog, then Gyan Darshan is being used, of course, with reference to karma.
Yeah.
When you say Shubha, okay, some kind of karma.
Yeah.
In the case of if it's Shukla Leshya, then it is the Nam karma, as Samriji explained to you. But when you are talking of Shuddha upyog, okay, then it is independent of karma. Then, the Jeev experiences in a Shuddha upyog, the Jeev or the Atma would experience infinite knowledge, infinite Gyan, infinite Darshan. It's a Shuddha upyog. So the Atma realizes the Atma and it's aware of Atma. At that moment, the Jeev is not aware of the Pudgal. Okay, so it has gone beyond Pudgal.
Yes.
It realizes its own self. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then it's a Shuddha upyog, So the soul then experiences the soul itself and nothing else, and experiences no infinite knowledge, infinite darshan. This is Shuddha upyog. So don't correlate that Shuddha upyog with Leshya, It's something different.
Okay. So the Nama Karma is Nama Karma also, the body type of body color only. Is there Nama Karma related with Leshya colors?
Yes, babe. This is what somebody just said, the Leshya, the Shukla Leshya, when it is there in the body of an Arihant, it is because of Nam Karma. I said in the very beginning, how the Leshyas are being produced. It's produced by the action of Karma and Tejas body. The Karma interacting with the Tejas body will produce a Dravya Leshya. Okay, so in the case of Arihanta, there is no Ghati Karma. It's only the Nam Karma, and that is also Shubh Nam Karma left out. So that Shubh Nam Karma is interacting with Tejas body and producing a Shukla Leshya, which exists. So it's a Subha upyog. It's a Subha upyog. It's not a Suddha upyog. In case of Suddha upyog, the Jeev experience, the Jeev and the bodies does not come in picture at all. No Leshya.
Okay.
Yes, Tirthankars are still active, physically, sometimes mentally, and of course verbally. So when there is action, there is Leshya.
There is action, there is Leshya. Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they are performing Shubh action. That's why there is Shubh Leshya.
That's right.
Nama Karma, it's giving body type colors.
Yes.
I understand that is Dravya Karma.
Dravya Karma.
No.
It's a body color. It's producing body color.
No. Yes, the Nam Karma is doing everything in the body, not only color. Nam Karma is responsible for the yoga activities also,
Everything. But one function is body color also. It's a part of Nam Karma.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
Okay.
That is, I continue to say Dravya Leshya.
Dravya Leshya is a kind of radiation of our actions, those karmic particles, or you can say yoke particles, which are being attracted by our action, and they are also having some color, and those colors are being reflected with the support of Tejas body.
But in that body color, green and black is pleasant. Other all, even Shukla, it's not saying that unpleasant. But how is the different circle is working? Body color, Shukla Leshya is unpleasant. Shukla, not Shukla Leshya, Shukla color. But Shukla Leshya is pleasant. Yeah.
No.
No. You see, exactly, if you go into the depth, the color of Leshya does not mean the Leshya is colored. That's a wrong notion.
I understand.
That wrong notion is so don't connect colors with the Leshya that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another one thing, sir. After the end of the lifetime,
yes,
we lose our body. We are going for next body.
Yes.
The Leshya will continue because we lost the body.
Yes.
Leshya will continue the same or differently will working? Again, differently.
Leshya will continue. Leshya will not change in the migration duration, migration time, So a soul will take birth in the same Leshya in which it left the last body. So Leshya goes on because it is a karmic effect, as I told you. So Leshya, continues with the soul.
Okay, thank you.
And that point must be very clear. Why? That is why there is the importance of, one must die peacefully. So that there is a good Leshya at the time of death, so that you again take birth in the next body with a good Leshya. You understand that point?
Yes.
Yes. So one must die peacefully. Otherwise, if Leshyas are bad at this time, you will have a bad Leshya at the time of birth. And then, of course, that will affect your entire body, process, psychology, everything in the next birth.
Yes, what Professor Kachhara has said, that is true. And that is spoken in the Prakrit language in the sense that just Jallesai Mari Tallesai Uvajai. The Leshya in which one dies,
yes,
one borns.
Yes.
One takes birth. So the last state must be very very good, so that the next birth should also be in the good state.
That's right.
Samaniji, what is your advice for Shravak? Which Leshya is we have to focus? Because all we cannot get Shukla Leshya. So how to which we have to
Shubh Leshya. You try to have Shubh Leshya, Tejo and Padma time.
Anything. Okay.
Yeah, not Shukla. You can't have a Shukla. Shukla Leshya, is normally produced in people like us by Opshamik Bhav. It's Upsham, when there is Upsham of Moni Karma, then one can have Shukla Leshya also, But that we don't expect at the time of death, the Upsham part. So Kshayopshamik Bhav is normally there, and try to have a good Bhav.
Yes. And these Leshyas, or Shukla Leshya, is there any relation with Shukla Dhyan?
Yeah, Shukla Dhyan also, I am not very sure about it, but Shukla Dhyan will produce Shukla Leshya, I think so.
Yeah, because in Shukla Dhyan, sometimes the meditator focuses on the particular words of the scriptures and goes into depth of that particular words, or sometimes it goes into the meaning of the words. So that is also a kind of mental activities, or you can say we are thinking about the scriptures. So it is a kind of a Shubh action. And that's why we can say that Shukla Dhyan also creates Shukla Leshya.
Okay. Thank you, Anna.
Yes.
Samniji, you mentioned that the Leshya, that the body, the soul leaves the body for the next body should be good Leshya, so that you are born with a good Leshya. But how long would that Leshya last? While you see, usually you are completing Paryapti in 48 minutes or so within that time. So would it last that long, or what effect would it have at birth, that Leshya?
So Professor Kachhara would.
Yeah, as I said, though the Leshyas they keep on changing with bhav, but initially, at the starting point when the body is being formed, I don't think their bhav can change, because the body has not been made, in fact,
Yeah.
So I think that bhav would continue, that Leshya would continue. The Leshya with which the Jeev is born, that Leshya will continue for quite some time.
Okay.
Unless, the body is formed and then there are activities and the soul is able to change its state. Okay, it's only when the body is grown up or it receives.
When you start producing the bhav, then things
Only,
would
yes.
change, isn't it? So
Then
that
only
is why it's significant
that
that
is
you
why.
go. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Thanks.
There is common principle that at least 48 minutes we can live in one state.
Yes.
Maximum for 48 minutes. After that, our mental states change.
That's right.
Yeah.
So within 48 minutes, we complete all the paryaptis, no?
That's right.
I think we have so many questions today, and Professor Kachhara is waking with us. So thank you very much for answering to all the questions of our participants. I think all have asked, and Professor Kachhara has given already very good time, even after lecture.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Professor, and thank you very much, Samniji.
Thank you. Thank you for joining the talk.
Thank you.
I'm happy that at least 25 people have joined the lecture.
Thank you.
That shows the interest. We are very interested in this.
Yes. Now we have hardly 5 lectures. After that, there would be presentation from a participant side. So might be all are preparing their research paper and PowerPoint presentation to give in the end of the course.
In the next class, we will have Dr. Pratap Sancheti talking.
Yes. Next, Dr. Pratap Sancheti, who is the neurologist from Jodhpur. So he will address all the participants. He is a specialist of brain. So might be you have noted his articles. Otherwise, today I will open all those articles. Before starting the next week, I will open the lectures, and you might be able to read those articles and also the video lectures.
Samniji, I wanted to ask if Dr. Anilji has presented already.
Yeah, I am looking for those videos. Till today, we couldn't get those videos from some source. So we are searching. Professor Kachhara is also contacting with the.
No, I have his lecture, and I'll see that it is being sent to you.
Okay, thank you, because I must have missed it and I couldn't find it on the classroom.
Yeah, that is missing still, and because it could not be uploaded. So might be within 2-3 days it would be uploaded and you would be able to see.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we are leaving.
Thank you.
Mandami, are you back?